Yo, what's up? What's up? This is your boy James, and I am back with another video for you guys today. And today I just want to just really dive, to and dive into a video that I just watched earlier today, and especially, from another content creator that I was just watching it just out of the blue, and just really dive into it, react to it when it comes to with this video called Hollywood is Fleeing Woke Hollywood in Droves, and that's a good thing. That's the name of the title of the movie that I'm going to react to, and just really dive deep into it. Just really being curious about it is like asking like, is actually Hollywood fleeing from woke culture or anything like that too? So I'm not sure how I'm going to title this video, but just like when it comes to with this video, and for anyone who is new to this channel, and for those who are subscribe to this channel too, for those who are coming back, what I'm about to say, what I'm about to react to is just really when it comes to from my own opinions, and just like it's nothing based on actual facts or science or anything like that, how you want to describe that. But I just really want to let you guys know whether you how you feel about when it comes to woke culture, and especially in Hollywood. Like if you guys are living in LA, Los Angeles, not where I am, but I'm in Southern California. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But also if you're in other you know areas too, like in Vegas, or if you're in Florida, or if you're in Atlanta or New York, anywhere too, that's just like when it comes to with the Hollywood culture, because I know like those places are kind of like popular there too in the Hollywood scene. And just like when it comes to with woke culture, I keep hearing that over and over. And just like when it comes to just when it comes to woke culture, probably talking about new age stuff too. When it comes to like being democratic, voting blue and everything else. And I get it, just because it's like with me as who really loves eccentric stuff. Those who I dive into the occult, when it comes to with astrology, with yoga, and with everything else. You guys know me too when it comes to with this channel. This channel is all about self-care and wellness. And what better way to just practice that is just really, to really dive deep into certain topics, when it comes to with current events and pop culture, and just really, using our third eye and using our throat chakras too, and really just using our, heart centers too, our heart chakras, just like when it comes to what we're seeing, what we're feeling, and just like really making our voices be heard too. Not just like, in general, but also too in the, comment section for those who are commenting on the video when it comes to with my reactions, my commentary too, when it comes to with that. So I'm just gonna really dive deep into this video by Nerd Erotic, if I pronounced their channel too. If I got their channel name right, shout out to them. They made this video. I saw it on Tyrone Magnus's channel too. Shout out to him as well. And congrats to him for just really making another milestone when it comes to with his subscribers. He's probably like around 2 million or 2 billion. I don't know. YouTube is so crazy to catch up. I'm just barely at 500 subscribers. I'm really just want to grow my channel. I want to support people when it comes to the things that I provide, and just really, create a beautiful community to connect with people who want to just really grow in their own way too when it comes to practicing self-care and wellness. They could be an astrologer, they could be, military man, it could be just like whoever, if they're Democratic or Republican, independent too, as long as you guys are just good people, you guys, just really value common sense too when it comes to that, whether you're Democratic or Republican too, or independent. That's, pretty much what I care about too. But whether you're a man or a woman too, however you want to identify yourself, I just really want to make that disclaimer out there for anyone who is new to this channel and don't know what I'm all about too. But if you guys do want to, dive into my channel too, and really want to know what I'm about too, I keep messing up my words. Feel free to do so too at any time, whether you're watching this video, if you're, watching this video again, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, I'm going to just really dive deep into this video reacting to it for the first time. Just like, you know, really just watching it from a really, you know, open eye and uh, open eye perspective too, with an open heart, and you know, really just making my voice be heard too when it comes to with my throat chakras and all that, and you know, with the occult, you know, language too when it comes to the chakras and all that. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive deep into this video. Much love to all you guys who are watching this, for those who are new to this channel, and for those who are coming back and subscribe to this channel already too. So anyways, let's do this shit. Let's see what this is all about.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Hey, Scarlett.
As a celebrity, I know all about stuff.
I think Kamala Harris needs a catchphrase.
Like science and politics.
They don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid.
So trust me when I tell you who you should vote for.
Kamala Harris will protect your right to disagree with her.
If you don't vote the right way, it's like a hate crime. It makes me sad and angry. And I'll leave the country. And you don't want that.
Dirterotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million hellions and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Listen, do you smell something? That's the breaking winds of change in Hollywood. And as Tinseltown looks down at the fiery but mostly peaceful disaster of their own making, I'm reminded it's been 4 years since Hollywood's first shutdown, where in truth, they were deemed essential over millions of their fellow Californians and allowed to work. And they used that time to make a lot of bad films and streaming content, root on the riots from the comfort of their $6 million mansion, saying things like enough white comfort and no Jar Jar Abrams. I'm not going to let that one go. They complained about a president who wasn't in office for 4 years. The entire industry became the mouthpiece of Pfizer, shaming people over the jab, and generally...
Yeah, I understand where he's coming from with that, just because 2020 was such a crazy ass fucking year too. And just like, you know, when it comes to with, you know, with 2020 and, you know, during COVID times, it was crazy. And you know, and I just really want to just address this too for those who have grew up in Southern California, like myself too, especially during like the 90s and early 2000s. And that time too, especially I was like, you know, a kid too in the 90s, and, you know, I was in middle school in the early 2000s and graduated in 2006, you know, and those are really crazy times. I mean, I grew up in a really Republican area in Orange County, and I can't count on how many times I've dealt with racism, but also at the same time, really made some unique friends too. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword per se when it comes to just really living in the area. And for those who really do know me in that area too, you guys know what I'm talking about, you know, especially as, you know, as just a man, just really, I say a young man per se back, you know, during those times, really just trying to get his education, trying to live his best life, you know, getting good grades and just really having fun with his friends. And sometimes too, because, you know, I grew up in a really multicultural area, you know, there were not just Black people, but also there were white, Asian, you know, Latino, and all sorts of, you know, backgrounds too. Probably I didn't realize. And I kind of like, you know, kept my distance and respected them dearly too as people, but really just getting back into like, you know, with this video, it's just like, you know, it's just like, you know, 2020, it was just like a big old kind of change too, you know, especially with people, how they feel about getting the vaccine. And I totally get it, you know, because I was kind of like hesitant to get this shot at first, just because, you know, I take care of myself. I wash my hands every single day. You know, I take a shower, take a bath, brush my teeth, you know, protect myself too. Like, and in anyways, when it comes to with practicing self-care, you know, taking care of myself, it's just like, you know, as you get older, and as really, especially when I got in my 30s and my dad was getting to this, you know, later stages in his life. And I really just thought to myself, like, you know, just because he's getting older and I'm still in my prime, and it's just like, you know, getting the shot just for his sake too, just, you know, because he felt the same way as I do. But like when it comes to in the area that I'm in, and when it comes to just with predominantly when it comes to older demographic, I should say, you know, if I'm saying it right, it's just, it really just makes you think about things too, and really just being considerate when it comes to with other people, especially the people that you care about, like your parents or your grandparents or your kids, your partners. So like for me, this is just me sharing my own opinion. You guys can really just share it, in the comment section. I just got the shot just because, for my dad's sake too. And, for people who kind of like, didn't want to get the shot for their own reasons, I'm not going to judge you on it. I'm not here to judge. I'm not perfect. I'm human. I make mistakes. I'm not holier than thou. I don't have like a mission to save the earth, but I really do love to really see healthy communities, healthy people thriving when it comes to with their careers and health and so on and so forth. And really just want things balanced, especially for the middle class and people just improve and so on and so forth. Call me old fashioned, but that's who I am basically too. So, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. And yeah, let's get into this video quick. Let's do this.
Alienating half the country.
Screw your freedom.
And it all might have worked out.
Damn, Arnold. What did you say again? Hold on. What did the Terminator say? Hold on. I think you...
The mouthpiece of Pfizer, shaming people over the jab, and generally alienating half the country.
Screw your freedom.
Damn, Arnold, what the fuck?
And it all might have worked out for him. Unfortunately, all of those non-essential people are the ones who actually buy tickets. Then, sometime later, they decide to follow that up with a strike, shutting down their industry for the second time in 4 years.
Yeah, and like especially with COVID hitting a lot of film studios, especially like in the Hollywood area too, I heard a lot of crazy stories about it. And it kind of really just really put a lot of things, it really kind of made things a lot more difficult during that time too. Especially like, when it comes to with, certain film studios couldn't release movies on the original date. That's from what I've heard too, when it comes to like on social media, especially like on Instagram and on X. It used to be called Twitter. And I don't get it when it comes to with X and Twitter because it's the same place, just different name. But who am I to judge too? So, but yeah, if I'm wrong about that too, guys, feel free to comment, leave your, share your own feelings and comments in the comment section too in this video. So yeah, I just from my experience and especially, during COVID, I know a lot of film studios kind of got hit hard a little bit too, if I'm saying that right, of course too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just, COVID, it was a really, really, really turning point for a lot of things, especially in the Hollywood and the film industry too, or I should say film and TV industry. So yeah, let's continue.
You seem to recall a precious few people within your industry and a hell of a lot of people outside it, including some guys and gals recording videos in their spare bedrooms.
Yeah, and I'm gonna pause again too. And like kind of like, during COVID, people are inside more because, you couldn't interact with people and do the things that you used to do, like going to work, in person into the building or go to a studio, and especially in Hollywood too, from what I've known to like learning in college is just like, going to a studio just to, rehearse your scenes, get things up in production. You couldn't do that, interact with other people. You got to stay home. And when COVID happened in 2020, that kind of like messed a lot of people up, especially, certain actors who are in certain roles and everything else. And it's just like, nowadays too, especially like now, like during COVID, a lot of people did a lot of, streaming, or I should say make some podcasts, however you want to call it, whether it's in the audio form or video form. And it's just like, it just really changed your game basically too, if I'm saying that right too. And, as a consumer and a content creator, it's just like, 2020 was kind of like, a really good time. I say a really good time, but also let me phrase that, a really crazy time for streaming or really just doing some content just because people were staying home a lot. And that kind of like boosted my channel up a little bit too. Like when it comes to with that, I didn't have 500 subscribers, during 2020, but when I kind of like focused this channel too specifically, even though I had this channel since 2007, it kind of like boosted up a little bit. I got 100 and I got 200. It's like building more and more and more as I collab with people, make videos, and doing that on a regular basis, and just really seeing other people too, just really, making podcasts and doing live streams and, collabs and everything else. It really just changed the game. Even like celebrities too, I believe, in certain, collaborations, especially like on in Zoom where they just record it and then they kind of like put it on certain social media platforms like on YouTube. I could be totally wrong about this too. Feel free to correct me if I'm if I am wrong. It's just like it was fucking wild. Just like when it comes to with COVID, I just felt sad that most people kind of really, passed away when it comes to what they have to deal with when it comes to with, getting COVID too. And it was just sad to, hear those kind of like news about that too. But like when it comes to with streaming and how just like people are streaming in their comfort of their own homes because they couldn't go out, that kind of changed a lot of things too. I could be totally wrong about that. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But from my own experience, and especially when it comes to with collabing with other content creators and making videos and just really seeing it with my own, two eyes, it was just like that changed a lot of things, especially. So, and now people want to see more streaming stuff too, not just like on YouTube and just like Netflix, kind of like, Netflix. I say Netflix and YouTube kind of really changed the game a little bit too, or I should say permanently. If I'm wrong about that too, feel free to let me know as well. Because like, when Netflix came out too, and especially with YouTube, people can watch, videos at the comfort of their own homes. And, Netflix, it's like where you just, streaming service where you watch like your favorite videos, and then that kind of really changed that too, because usually you have to watch cable, or satellite back in the day too. Now just going way back, and now it's just like they got like YouTube TV and everything else, which is crazy. And like on YouTube, now you can really just not only watch videos, but also you can really make your own videos and really just do certain live streams or making podcasts too. So it's wild, I say Netflix and YouTube really changed the game when it comes to with just like in the entertainment industry. I'm just gonna leave it at that. If I'm wrong about that, feel free to correct me. But anyways, let's get back into with the video.
Warning you that this might not be a good idea. And now that we're a year past the end of the strike, it turns out it wasn't a good idea.
Who could have seen this coming?
Ultimately, it wasn't a smart move as a writer to go on strike asking for more money during the year of the flopbuster. Turns out it was ill-advised to vote to stop working after the streaming bubble burst. Turns out it was flat out stupid to go on strike after an entire industry broke its business model. Ticket sales in theaters are down 30 to 40%, and the core of your industry, the legacy Hollywood studios, are largely in debt. And while all this was going on, adult pretenders in Hollywood found new and unique ways to drive off the paying customer. That reminds me, a lot of us were saying just because Hollywood stops doesn't mean the world does, and the worst case scenario actually happened. That audience you've been alienating has become the competition. I also
Go back to that real quick. What was that? Go back to that.
The world does, and the worst case scenario actually happened. That audience you've been alienating has become.
Yeah, and it's just, I'm not sure what's going on with Hollywood and YouTube. I mean, honestly, I thought they were just, coexisting, but now that you think about it, it's just crazy, because like, I don't know much about Hollywood. I'm probably like out of, touch with that because I live here all my life, but it's just like, when it comes to with, Hollywood culture and how things used to be back in the day too, it's just like, I don't know, it's just different. And like how certain movie studios are just really being so political, and like on WB or Disney, if I could say that too. But it's just like, it's crazy. And even just like, when it comes to with streaming, like now most people want to just, watch their favorite videos or stream, or like when it comes to with streaming services like YouTube and everything else, it's just, it's just so weird because I was just earlier I was saying like Netflix and YouTube has just changed the game when it comes to with the entertainment industry, and but it's just like now, just really thinking about it and just looking at this video again too, it's just like, huh, and it's just really interesting just because like from my own perspective and just being on YouTube for a long time, I've seen most celebrities have their own channels. They be streaming sometimes, not like in a way like other people do it, but like I've seen people like most Hollywood actresses and actors and just really stream like on YouTube. Even not the ones that are like A-listers, maybe A-listers, but also the ones that you probably know too from like certain video games or music videos or all the above. So I find that weird, to be honest with you too. So, and I don't know, it's just maybe I'm out of touch with Hollywood. I'm not trying to beat myself up about it. It's just, it's just really weird too. And just like when it comes to how certain companies are treating certain people, I mean, I don't blame them for just really going somewhere else just because you should like even like as a business model too, you should always treat your customers are your number one fan base, and especially your fan base, your customers, etc., people who love your products, who are a big fan of your work, and if you disrespect them in this really weird way too, or in a really slick way, they'll probably notice that. And just because people listen and they see things too on the screen with their ears, with their eyes, and especially when they're feeling it with their hearts, around their body, when it comes to with their feelings, their intuition, it's just like, it's like if they feel like, they're being disrespected, or if they're feeling or sense like they just things didn't make sense when it comes to just really watching it and just really hearing it too. It's like maybe I should just focus my attention elsewhere if certain companies are really pushing a weird agenda, or just like with anything else. I don't know. I'm not trying to like being canceled on YouTube because I like YouTube, and with Hollywood it's like a double-edged sword just because what's happening right now too with certain celebrities abusing their power and being busted about it too, finally. So, but at the same time, I love movies, classic movies, superhero movies, classics, and so like, Bruce Lee and with Chuck Norris, and I'm a action guy too. So it's like, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, Kevin Sorbo, Jason Statham, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, um, who else I should say? I can name off Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Jean-Claude Van Damme, uh, Paul Walker, um, and even like with Charlize Theron, just Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, the Charlie's Angels, of course. That's from me in the early 2000s. Always like the Charlie's Angels, especially with Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Drew Barrymore. And that was a cool duo. And much respect to the women. And also Lucy Lawless. You can't forget Xena, the warrior princess. What else too? I forgot she played a Wonder Woman too. It was way before my time. I think it's Linda Carter, I believe. Yeah, her too. She's one of the goats too. And I'm always a big fan of women kicking some ass and looking good doing it. Even they, get some bumps and bruises along the way. So we did. I'm man enough to admit that shit. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school too. I don't know, because I'm getting older and getting wiser and all that. So anyways, I just probably went on a little tangent there too of memory lane. So I'm gonna get to the video too, but also, yeah, like when it comes to what you see on the screen right now, it's just like, with Hollywood and YouTube, and just like if they're at each other's throats, or like when it comes to the woke culture, just like how it's, being just pushed in certain movies and, media too. It's like I get it too, because it's, sometimes like like when it comes to certain things, like you want to see diversity when it comes to a certain movies. It could be like with superhero movies or with other movies too, or even music or gaming too. But if you see something that's just like, kind of like forced down your throat, like when it comes to just like with certain agendas, you really just gotta question that too. And it's really good to really just using your third eye to really just question everything too, to really just, question everything that you see, even the things that you like and dislike too. So I'll just leave it at that. And I'm going to get back into this video because, I'm just probably going all in the circles right now, but feel free to correct me if I got things wrong too. So
the competition. I also seem to recall a few of us stating that this strike would end up being a purge, leading to mergers, acquisitions, outsourcing, layoffs, and shrinkage.
that's bad. Yikes.
I was in the pool! And now we're in a timeline where I agree with John Campia.
The gravestone will say, "Here lies the movie-going industry, death by suicide." Because they're fucking...
Whoa. Can't say the S word, man. I want to get my channel taken down. Sorry, YouTube. I didn't know he was going to say that, so forgive me.
killing themselves.
And while John and I will vehemently disagree on what led up to Tinseltown's self-deletion, it doesn't change the fact that Hollywood is fleeing woke Hollywood in droves. And you don't
Maybe. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm seeing that. I know, like with the last movie I saw was Deadpool and Wolverine, and it didn't feel woke to me. It was just like a comic book movie when it comes to a Deadpool and Wolverine with like, nostalgic cameo appearances. One of them was actually my favorite. I'll just give you a clue: Daywalker. So when it comes to that, but I mean, I get it. Like, I know, like with the Avengers movies, I saw some woke stuff there too. And to be honest with you, I have nothing against woke culture, but I'm totally against stuff that's just shoved down our throats for multiple times too. So like, I'm all about diversity when it comes to certain movies, and main certain characters being main roles, with the woman's the main role and the guy's the villain, or the guy's the hero but the woman's the villain. And if she's black, they're black or white or Hispanic, Asian, etc. I mean, I'm all about diversity, but like when it comes to like certain, agendas being shoved down our throats, especially, in a really weird way, I'm totally against that. So whether it's Democratic or Republican too, I hate to be political, but I'm just really keeping it real for you guys too, for those who are watching. So that's all. If you guys feel a certain way about it too, you guys could disagree too. But like, if you guys go against, like, if you guys diss me for any weird way, I'm just gonna ban you guys too, just because it's like, I'm not disrespecting you guys. And, I'm always open to constructive criticism too, but not, when it comes to character attacks, because if you guys do that against me, I'm just gonna ban you just out of the spot, period. So that's where I draw the line, basically too. When it comes to character attacks towards me, or especially other people too, that's not cool. Because I'm not gonna do that too. I'll talk shit, but I'm not gonna like, destroy your character or anything like that. So, anyways, probably went a little bit overboard with that, but I'm just gonna continue with this video.
You don't have to take my word for it. These are Access Media headlines from just the last month. Why Los Angeles is becoming a production graveyard. LA production plunged 20% in 2020.
Shit, is that true, guys? Feel free to, correct me if this actually happened. Oh, shit.
3 new film LA report finds why streaming content could be Hollywood's final.
I mean, I thought that's already happening right now, just because, certain, like, people who are famous and well-known are actually streaming too, so who knows? I mean, especially nowadays too, it's like, certain figures in Hollywood are really being called out for the weird things that they've done in the past and now. And it's just like, people are fed up with the bullshit, basically. And it's just, I get it, just because people are fed up with the bullshit, like I was saying before. But it's just, I can be totally wrong about it. I try to catch up with, stuff that's happening in Hollywood, but sometimes I don't watch the news on TV. I just watch it like on social media too. So I don't know. You guys feel free to, fill me in on the deets too when it comes to it. That if did I get some things right? Did I get things wrong? I mean, feel free to correct me too when it comes to certain things as well. So that's all. And me just talking right now really makes a motherfucker thirsty. So, oh man, let's continue. But yeah, streaming content is just, I think that's, that's the future, especially nowadays too, where people just want to, see their favorite people just like making live podcasts and, doing collaborations. And, it's just like, with Hollywood's gotta, like in all things too, like if things stay the same, nothing will change, and it's just like when you just like, really just evolve and just really learn from our mistakes, and especially when it comes to a certain people and everything else, and just really learn how to evolve and really just evolve into like the current times as well. It really can help anyone just thrive, like with Hollywood doing some streaming content, or you know public figures not looking down on people and just really appreciate them, in a healthy way too. I don't know how to describe it too. It's I'm a firm believer of just like just really find that kind of balance where people can really just like certain people who are publicly well known can really just respect other people too, whether you're just like regular person, or if you're just like and everything else too. So that's just me. Anyways, I'm just gonna get back to the video. Let's go see.
Act, Hollywood is dead, according to Justine Bateman. Here's what comes next. Bateman argues the emotional and financial scaffolding necessary to support film business is gone. In its place, we have something of a conveyor belt churning out content. Hollywood running to the guy who created the business environment that theirs is failing in is probably not the best strategy. Aside from the fact that it's going to be a tough sell even to the general populace of California, considering all their problems, to subsidize professional make-believe. The question is, what rules are these subsidies and tax credits going to come with? Well, that was already answered a year ago. From March 1st of last year, California's film tax credit aims to punish projects that don't hit diversity goals. And there it is, the underlying foundation of many of Hollywood's current problems, something the Access media won't mention, but I will. Their slavish adherence to the message, imposing written and unwritten rules on themselves in the name of diversity, which is truly just exclusion, and it's antithetical to all creativity. Turning an industry that used to produce some pretty good stuff that would occasionally entertain you and make you think into a platform for propaganda and content, particularly with pop culture and genre, permeated with people telling you what to think, although their attitude will be,
we're not telling people what to think. We're just trying to show them how.
That's like a really crazy way of gaslighting people and just question their reality, and just like, you just call out stuff that your people are trying to do, and then they're just saying like, we're not actually doing that. That's a crazy ass form of gaslighting too. But I can also understand too, like when it comes to like agendas being pushed, it's crazy, just because like especially with Marvel, I mean, like with Stan Lee and like Jack Kirby and other people too, back way before my time, just like when it comes to with Marvel Comics, it's just like, like the original stories were amazing, like with the Avengers and with Spider-Man especially, and the X-Men and Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, Blade, you name it too, and certain other characters too. It's just like, just really, if you're like changing the origins of certain characters and stories from actual like, comics and games into just really pushing an agenda, that can really just rub people the wrong way. But at the same time, it's just like, really making new ideas and also honoring the origins of, when it comes to with, comic book, icons or pop culture icons too. Like, with, like I heard like some stuff about making the Silver Surfer a woman. I mean, that's a wild thing to see. I'm not against it, but like I know the original Silver Surfer is actually a man, damn, I forgot his name too. Something I'm Norrin Rad. I don't know. I know the name, but I just can't say it right now too. I don't know why. I know the name, I just can't say it. I know like with the Silver Surfer, because not only I see them in comics, but also I played the character too in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Back in the day too, like in the PS3 era, in the PlayStation era too. So it's kind of like Silver Surfer and a woman. I mean, it's cool as long as if you honor the original character when it comes to just like the original Silver Surfer, who's actually a man too. So hopefully, if Marvel does that, honor the original Silver Surfer, as well as having like a variant version of the female Silver Surfer. I mean, that's cool, I guess, but just really never like disrespecting the origins of certain characters too when it comes to with this Marvel comics or DC or like with other media too, like with gaming and music and everything else, because that's like a slap to the face of people who actually love the original comics. The fans, especially fans who are older than me too, and younger as well. So I don't know. That's just me saying that too, as a comic book lover, gaming lover too. So forgive me for stumbling my words. It's hard to get my point across too, just because that's kind of like my weakness too when it comes to just getting my point across. But hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about too when it comes to just what I'm sharing, where I'm coming from too, as a comic book guy and gaming guy and holistic guy too when it comes to being love the occult to loving comic books and gaming too. So I love those avenues too when it comes to those aspects. And yeah, just wild stuff too. So I don't know. It's just like with superhero movies, I don't think they're gonna be going away anytime soon. I know like certain movies are just really being pushed like over and over again. Like I know with Superman, that's kind of like a bummer because Henry Cavill was like the picture perfect Superman. He had the build, he got the look, the curl on his hair. He was like the perfect Superman, and just like for WB to just really change that, that's kind of messed up. No disrespect to WB, I'm just really keeping it real as a fan and as a consumer of WB and DC Comics, because I grew up watching DC comic media as well as Marvel too for the last 20-30 years, as a kid and as a man now. So it's kind of like just really seeing that change with the Superman origins and with Batman too, especially. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Batman. Batman the animated series, that was like the first thing I saw when it comes to with Batman. And then Michael Keaton, as you saw earlier in this reaction video, it's just like he's the OG, one of the OG Batmans too. But also for me, the OG Batman will always be Kevin Conroy. Rest in power and peace to him, and many blessings to his family as well. It's just like he had that kind of like perfect voice for Batman. It's smooth, but it's also gritty and tough and dark. It's just perfect. It's that right balance. And just it's unfortunate that Kevin Conroy is not here with us. He's into the ancestral plane too, I should say. So, but yeah, it's just to me, when you think of Batman, you just hear I hear Kevin Conroy's voice. If you guys disagree, that's totally fine, especially if you're a younger generation, just because like there's probably other Batman voice actors who really do a marvelous job as Kevin Conroy too. But like Kevin Conroy had like kind of like the perfect voice when it comes to with Batman too. If you guys disagree, that's totally cool. And same goes with I know with Blade too, just because I love that character Blade. Wesley Snipes is the OG Blade, hands down. Like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, and Chris Evans is Captain America, and Kevin Sorbo is Hercules, or Lucy Laws is Xena too. It's just like it's just like you just can't like or like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine basically too. You just can't replace those people who could play iconic characters like that. Especially in certain media in Hollywood too, like Kevin Sorbo as Hercules. It's like he's he's just like the right balance. Like he's not like too big, he's not too scrawny. It's like, oh, that's cool, dude. I don't know if I should say that name just because I know it's kind of controversial, but it's just like even just like, with uh, Robert Downey Jr., how he just, was in Hollywood before and he turned his life around, just like with the Iron Man character. It was very similar to that. And who better to play Iron Man than Robert Downey Jr., because it really matches the actual character's origin story too. And it's just amazing. And with Chris Evans as Captain America, he played Human Torch before, but now he's he's Captain America. And that's kind of like, it really just grew on me too. I always thought he was an awesome actor and he was just perfect. And also I can't forget not Chris Evans, but Chris Helmsworth, Thor, it's just like when I saw him play Thor for the first time, I was like, oh shit. Like, I've seen someone play Thor in the Hercules, The Legendary Journeys TV show, but then I saw Chris Helmsworth and I was like, oh, he's a pretty cool Thor. He's funny. He could be serious at times. He could switch it up. I mean, that's perfect. I mean, Chris Helmsworth is Thor now, and that's good. It's like, Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. It's just like originally Wolverine is short. And, not like tall, short, but he's kind of like, mid height. But then like you see Hugh Jackman, and just like big, tall, like around like 6 foot and having claws come out of his fucking knuckles and all that shit. I was like, that's Wolverine. That is gangster, And like with Christian Bale being Batman, in the movies, that's, even though to me Kevin Conroy is always, Batman, that's cool too. But it's just like, when you see certain media and you hear and see people play certain characters that are iconic and can't be replaced, I mean, that really just sticks with people. And it's just like to change the origin stories or just to push the agenda, it can really just rub people the wrong way. I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, sorry I kind of like went on a nerdy tangent again too. You probably see a lot more of this too when it comes to with this video. I'm not sure how long this video will be, but so if it's too long, feel free to come back and watch it at any time. And yeah, sorry, but I barely got into, quarter of the video. So anyways, let's continue.
And now Hollywood finds themselves in a bit of a pickle after going through all that strife. They come out the other end on an election year. And the question I had earlier in the year was, would Hollywood sit this one out, considering all the overall damage to their brand? I was getting concerned that we wouldn't get a cringe-inducing adult pretender video. Better late than never.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Avengers.
Oh, I forgot to mention, like, Edward Norton was a really good Hulk too. Like, I know with the Hulk, there was one that was like in 2003 or 2002. That was a pretty cool Hulk. I was against it at first. I was like, oh, he looks like the Jolly Green Giant, but it kind of, now as I think about it, it's just like it rubbed onto me too. But like with Edward Norton playing the Hulk, that was sick. And it was unfortunate that they changed actors to Mark Ruffalo, who actually really plays a really good, Bruce Banner and Hulk too. But like Edward Norton, that was gangster. I mean, I believe it was a 2008 or 2009 that it came out, The Incredible Hulk. Feel free to let me know what year that movie came out with the Edward Norton's version of the Hulk. I think it was 2009 or 2010, but that one was gangster as hell. I mean, it was the picture perfect Hulk. He just got the ripped veins, the mean look, the attitude, especially. That was gangster. Hopefully we'll see that version of him in like the multiverse stuff, since Marvel's doing that now. Don't want to spoil anything, but from what I've seen with the multiverse stuff, anything's possible. If certain cameos come back in Deadpool and Wolverine, who's to say with Edward Norton coming back too? So who knows? But anyways, I'm gonna get back into this video too. We're barely 5 minutes in and it's 15 minutes long and I'm still going on in a tangent with this too. So anyways, let's get on with it.
Hey,
Scarlett.
jumping on the call.
Whoa. I think you mean
Assembling.
Yeah, how can we be of service?
Well, how about we start with what our voting plans are going to be, who we're going to bring to the polls with us, that sort of thing. Just to,
I think Kamala Harris needs a catchphrase.
Ooh, yes, definitely a catchphrase.
How about this? I'm just off the top of my head. I can do this all day.
Shut up.
I hate it.
Okay.
How about I'm down with democracy? It's just clean, it's simple.
Okay, I like that.
it's hard to argue with that.
Kamala Harris down with democracy.
I don't know if that sounds the way we want it to sound, though.
I think we just need, can we get some production though?
Jarvis? My name's not Jarvis.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I am down with democracy.
You know, nothing says reaching out and connecting with the common man like an adult pretender who is essentially a professional liar who reads and interprets other people's words for a living, coming down from their ivory towers to read and interpret a poorly written script to tell you how to vote in a badly edited Zoom video. I don't.
Damn. I mean, I'm gonna leave it at that. It's just like, you know, people have the right to vote who they want to vote for, and I'm not political. I'm just a man who wants to see healthy communities, healthy environment, and people just thriving in life too, whether they're middle class or any kind of class too. That's just me. So yeah, but yeah, I get what he's saying too when it comes to with that. But at the same time, it's just like, you know, people liked it, so be it. If they didn't, that's their choice. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Politics is like it's kind of like that double-edged sword. It's just where like, it really divides us instead of just brings people together. And that's like, I never talk about politics too on this channel just because I may mention it, but I don't dive deep into it just because it's like, you know, it can really just divide people and can really just start fights immediately too. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
I'd also like to point out that they went to the OG team. You don't see any new Avengers in that video. Where's Simu Liu? Where's Brie Larson? And prior to that, the Batman.
Hey, there he is, one of the OGs, Batman.
Himself, Michael Keaton, came out with this banger.
You know, for some of you folks who, guys mostly, I guess, who are thinking about attending a rally with Musk and Trump, they don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind.
I mean, I get what Michael Keaton's saying, just because it's like, you know, it could be true or it could be false. And it's just like, you know, from, I don't know if you guys heard of this too, but it's just like, I've heard like one of the comedians who was at Trump's rally just really talk a lot of shit about Puerto Rico, how it's like a trash filled place. And I heard that, I was like, you gotta be motherfucking kidding me. I was like, you seriously gonna say that? I'm all about jokes, like when it comes to with actual humor, it's like talking about certain things and really just being genuinely and authentically funny. But if you're being insensitive towards a group of people, a demographic, people are gonna look at you sideways. I'm just gonna be straight up with that. And even if you're just making like slick comments against certain people, like with watermelon and black people are gonna look at you sideways too. So it's kind of like, you know, with that. And like, what if I just like, for example, just talk about with white folks, like, you know, they love like, you know, when it comes to with Andrew Tate, and they love to watch BBC porn, and just like, you know, people like look at me sideways like, that's not all white folks. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or if I say like white girls love Taylor Swift and they love BBC and they love, you know, to watch the Kardashians or however you want to call it too, love Starbucks, and they look at me sideways too, because that's not all white girls, but that's just my own experience dealing with some of them. So it's like, if I say that shit, then yeah, you guys could call me out on that too, but I'm not going to say it just because it's like, you know, I don't want to generalize, but at the same time, I'm going to keep it real. I've experienced people who are into those things too. So it's kind of like, you know, and like, you know, I know some people who are Trump supporters. Some are really cool people and some are racist assholes. I'm just going to really keep it straight up, be straight up and keep it a buck with you too. And same goes to people who are Democratic. Some are really good and genuine people, but some are just the most sneakiest motherfucking bastards I ever saw. So it's like, again, with politics, the double-edged sword, it's fucking crazy. And that's why I never talk about it too, when it comes to on my any social media platform that I'm on too. So anyways, ooh, man, I can't talk today too for some reason. grounded myself and everything else. But anyways, I understand what Michael Keaton was saying, just because like most people will see you and treat you a certain way too, and so I kind of understand where he's coming from, but that's probably not be true to all people, but some people. So I kind of understand where he's coming from too. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But sometimes too, he could be wrong, he could be right. It just really depends on the person, whether they're a man or a woman. I don't know. That's just me saying that. So, yeah.
Behind your back, they think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros. They have no respect for you. Trust me.
Let me get this straight. An adult pretender is telling us not to vote for somebody because they wouldn't hang out with us and they think we're stupid, coming from a guy who wouldn't give us the time of day and thinks we're stupid.
I mean, again, the double-edged sword. It's just like, people who treat people a certain way too. It's just like it really it says a lot to you. You don't even have to say words about it. Whether you're Harrison Ford, if you're Trump, if you're Hulk Hogan, if you're Mark Calloway, Kevin Sorbo, or if you're Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans, Chris Helmsworth, Wesley Snipes, Kevin Hart, etc. It's just like, how certain people treat others too, especially if they're not famous as them, or if they're just like middle class or not. It really just says a lot, about their characters. So it's like, if they're assholes towards other people or yourselves, I mean, that kind of will rub people the wrong way too. So, or if they trying to tell you what to do, and how to say stuff too, and trying to gaslight you, that's weird as hell too. But like if people are actually genuinely good people and just really, respect people's opinions, they, even though they don't agree, I mean, hey, that's the kind of people I like to connect with too. It's like, you don't have to just agree about everything, but, you can really just, respect other people's opinions and just let people be who they are. So that's the kind of people I want to connect with too. People who are genuinely, grounded people and who really like to just really, connect with people in a human way too. So I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, anyways, let's get back to the video.
And then there's Harrison Ford.
The truth is this: Kamala Harris will
I don't care.
And if you ever wonder what killed the movie star, well, thanks to social media, we got to know them. The latest example of that, you probably didn't know, a Tom Hanks film flopped this weekend. But this is balanced out by the very controversial statements from Zachary Levi calling for balance.
I don't think it's accurate to say that somehow Hollywood is both a liberal and a conservative town. Back in the day, there might have been a bit more of a balance,
That's true. I mean, I could be totally wrong about that because that's way before my time, but who knows? If you guys, for anyone who's like an older generation, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section if things were balanced back in the day or not. So, yeah, I don't know because I'm still in my 30s. I don't know much about Hollywood, but I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and even just now, it's just, a lot of things are more liberal than ever too. And because I know when I grew up, it was more, it was kind of like a balance too, like liberal and, conservative too. But at the same time, like as I got older, things started to become more liberal now. I was like, oh shit, like started to see that shift, especially during the early and mid 2000s too. So I don't know, feel free to, share your own feelings and thoughts in the comment section if I'm right about that, if I'm wrong, because I'm still in my, I say like mid 30s and I'm still just, living my best life, living in Southern California where, Hollywood is, even though I don't live in Hollywood, but I know some people who do live in Hollywood. I'm not going to say their names, but yeah, it's wild. It's crazy out here. I'm just going to leave it at that.
But you really have to be at a certain level of your career in order to get away with it. Number one. Yeah. But number two, that was also back then. And I think naming just John Voight and Dennis Quaid, of the thousands of actors in Hollywood, that you could only name two, I think actually speaks to that. And what that means is there's plenty, and by the way, they have sent me lots of messages, plenty of people in my industry, in Hollywood, that are terrified to publicly say that they would vote for Donald Trump, or because...
Yeah, yeah, it's just like, there's probably celebrities out there who are conservative and they don't want to be just, being called out, being labeled a racist or, a sellout if you're black, too, or just like with that too. Just because, like, I know one actor, Kevin Sorbo, he's used to play Hercules in the Legendary Journeys back in the day. That was my dude, because it's like, oh, he kicks ass. He's, very, open to helping people, whether they're black or white, if you're a god or not. That character really kind of like inspires me to be who I am today too. But it's just like with the actor, just like, I think he used to be liberal back in the day too, but now he's becoming more conservative and he kind of got some flack about it. So like, I'm not going to mention a little bit more about it because, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube or any social media platforms too. It's just like, I don't know. It's just so weird, like how most things are so political now too. And it's just like, back then when I was growing up, it probably wasn't like that, or it probably was. I just didn't realize it. But now it's even more in your face. And so it's like if you vote for Trump, they'd probably say you're a racist, homophobic, or if you're a sellout too, if you're black or anything else. So it's like, huh. I don't know, because like there's assholes in every demographic. If you're a Democrat, if you're Republican, or if you're independent, there's good and bad people out there too in every aspect, whether you're Democrat, or if you're, Republican, or if you're conservative or liberal. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And just really, it's good to really just be aware of those kind of people where we can really just be protecting ourselves. But that's another video for another day. So anyways,
conservative in any way. That's why you don't see them. That's why they're not very prevalent or prominent, because they know that there's ramifications for this kind of shit. Y'all, our industry is going to be fucking gonzo. Like it already is. We're getting eroded. The pandemic and the strikes and all of these things, they've already eroded it so much. My cry to all of you out there, you closeted conservatives, closeted Trump voters, y'all, it's now or never. If what you're afraid of is somehow the backlash of an industry that's not going to exist very soon, don't let that hold you back.
Fully acknowledging Zachary Levi coming out and making this statement is far more ballsy than any of his comrades in Hollywood. We have to remember that the celebrity endorsement is not going to stop. I find it far more disturbing that it would actually sway a vote. And I think the biggest takeaway is what he said towards the end. If you work in Hollywood, don't concern yourself with the backlash of an industry that's not going to exist. And again, this isn't just some
hate crime. It makes me sad.
Shit. That's what's his name, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I recognize. That's Shazam. Okay, that's his name. I just went back to the other video. I gotta stop tripping out on that shit. Hold up. Go back there. Did I think I skipped that part. Right, I was right here. There we go.
Not going to exist. And again, this isn't just some hyperbole coming from YouTubers, social media. This is coming from within the industry. Sony Pictures Entertainment CEO Tony Vinciquerra warned that the deals made with major labor unions are suppressing domestic production. The contract terms are forcing productions out of the U.S. now. The air has come out of the content bubble, says Matthew Bellani, founder of entertainment industry title Puck News. Crisis is a good word. I try not to be alarmist, but crisis is what people are feeling. And many of us said that the hardest hit during the strikes would be the working class in Hollywood, and that's exactly what happened. The losers, Film LA noted, are rank-and-file industry workers, according to the 2024 Otis College report on the creative economy. 27% of the nation's domestic film and TV workforce resides in greater Los Angeles. Given these workers heavy dependence on local filmmaking, reduced project output raises significant concerns. And I think this one almost sums it up. Other Hollywood vets lament that LA is simply no longer a film-friendly hub. I would argue that LA is...
That kind of makes sense why most studios are moving to Las Vegas. If you guys heard of that too, feel free to, correct me too if you guys are, still watching this too, just because I've heard like certain studios are moving to Las Vegas, from on Google, YouTube, Instagram, especially on X too. Excuse me. It's just like, most movie studios like WB and other ones are moving to Las Vegas just to really expand. And if that's true, I mean, that's wild. So, because I know that's like in Las Vegas, that's like, where most of the adult industry stuff is too. For those who work in that area too, shout out to you guys, for those who are genuinely good people. I know some of them who are actually cool people, sexy as hell too, especially the women. It's just like, yeah, it's wild. So, yeah, if that's true, guys, feel free to comment. Feel free to leave a comment below to share your own feelings and thoughts about it too. So, whew. Anyways, let's continue a little bit more. I think I'm almost done with this video too. So let's continue.
No longer a human-friendly hub. It's not any one thing, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Speaking of that, let's get to my wheelhouse and talk about some genre entertainment, because that's where a lot of those cuts come from. Hollywood has already destroyed the money-printing machines that were Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who, just to name a few, and they're well on their way to doing it with the superhero film. Like I said, over the past month, we've gotten a litany of soul-searching or navel-gazing articles about the destruction of Hollywood from the Access media, and this is one of them. Superhero burnout. With most superhero movies flopping, can Marvel and
yeah, I get it. So, but it's just because like now, like Deadpool and Wolverine did a really good job in the box office, and other movies too kind of did okay. Like DC movies, here and hit or miss. Marvel movies are doing decent. For me, just as a fan and a consumer, just watching these videos too and TV shows, but the weird thing about especially with certain superhero movies that are out nowadays, when it comes to like She-Hulk. I mean, there's a lot of flack about She-Hulk, and I get it, just because it's like there is some stuff that was pushed down our throats, but at the same time, as like the character She-Hulk herself, I mean, she kind of really resembles the one that I've seen in the 90s cartoon too. If you guys watch the 90s cartoon of She-Hulk to just really looking at the She-Hulk, TV show now, the main character, there's no difference with her. It's just actually, the way they portray She-Hulk is actually like the ones in the cartoon and in the comics. So Marvel did a really good job with that. I might get some flack about that, so be it, but I'm just really, sharing my own feelings and thoughts about it too, when it comes to just really analyzing and just really comparing to the She-Hulk TV show to the 90s cartoon and comics. It's like, oh, they really did their research when it comes to with the actual character origin story. I didn't know she could break the fourth wall like Deadpool, but like when it comes to her being goofy and serious at the same time, that's like the 90s She-Hulk character. And like with the TV show, I was like, oh, I see those kind of like the similarities with that too, and that was pretty cool. So, but I know sometimes too with certain things that are shoved down our throats, it's like, I get it. If it's like cringy, it's like they shouldn't have done that. But other stuff too, like when it comes to with certain stuff too, like especially in the She-Hulk show, it's like, yeah, they could have like added this and that too. But I don't know. I kind of like the She-Hulk show. It was okay. It wasn't like bad, but it wasn't like good, like the best. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But hopefully, if they make another season of She-Hulk, they'll add some more stuff to it, especially when it comes to Bruce Banner too and all that. But DC, I mean, Robert Pattinson really did a good job as Batman. It was really cool. I'm not sure what's up with the Superman. What's up with Superman? It's like they had it in the back with Henry Cavill. I mean, Henry Cavill is Superman. I know him, Tom Welling, Christopher Reeve, and there's another actor too, way before my time. He was in the I Love Lucy show too. They're Superman, and especially the voice actor who played him in the 90s. Like they're like the definition of Superman, especially like in the movies with Christopher Reeve and Tom Welling and Henry Cavill. And also I think it's Brandon Ruth too, who played a really good Superman as well in 2006. They actually made a game with him too, and I have it on the PS2. Believe it or not, this Superman Returns. That was a really good one too. He's really played a good Superman. So yeah, him, Henry Cavill, Christopher Reeve, Tom Welling, and really did play an awesome Superman. I'll leave it at that. And same goes to Batman, Christian Bale, Robert Patterson, Kevin Conroy, the OG, and George Clooney. Who else? Mike. I think I said Michael Keaton, right? Michael Keaton, Batman, and there's another one too. What's the Riddler? Val Kilmer, I believe. Yeah, he was a cool Batman too. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I could go on and on about it too. You guys could really, go ham in the comment sections too. So, anyways, let's do this.
DC's 2025 slate reversed the unprecedented box office drought. And this brings up the dreaded superhero fatigue, which is a bit of a chicken or the egg arc.
Yeah, I mean, that's an awesome scene too from the sequel to the Black Panther movie. That's a really, really, really good one too. Rest in power to Chadwick Boseman. I mean, it's just unfortunate he's not here with us, just because, he really did a really good job playing Black Panther. And for the cast too, the first movie was awesome too. And the second one was pretty powerful too. It was really emotional just because, Chad wasn't there just to, return to his iconic role, just to fight Namor, because in the comics, Black Panther threw some hands at Namor and Namor got that work. So it's like, hey, I was looking forward to seeing Chad as throwing it down with Namor, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But, Shuri is a good Black Panther too, so it's actually in the comics. And so, yeah, I'm not going to, throw salt against that. Black Panther is awesome. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Not because I'm Black, but also because I'm a comic book fan too. So, anyways, let's continue.
Argument. Will people still be drawn to a superhero TV show or movie that's well made? Yes. Are too many poorly made superhero TV shows and films going to hurt Hollywood's bottom line as a market driver? Yes. Between 2015 and 2019, 25 out of the 30 superhero titles, 83%, took in more than 500 million worldwide. After the pandemic, the dynamic has flipped on its head since 2022. 10 of the 17 superhero titles, 59%, have made less than $500 million. And the rest of the article is essentially going over the things that we've mentioned here on this channel for years. DC is essentially rebooting for the third time in a decade. Sony making Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man is stupid, and Marvel is oversaturated with crap. Sony's two films this year, Madam Web and Venom, were at least unintentionally hilarious. DC's had 6 flops in a row going back to last year, and after multiple underperforming TV shows and films and outright flops, Marvel finally got a hit with Deadpool and Wolverine. And their upcoming slate in 2025, outside of Daredevil, looks at best highly questionable and at worst abysmal. And it looks like the future of the superhero.
Yeah, that was a weird pick. Nothing against Robert Downey Jr. It's just like, huh? I hope there's another version of Doom, like an actual actor that people want to see him play Dr. Doom is in like the future movies or TV shows, because with the multiverse stuff that's happening right now, I don't know. It's hard to wrap your head around too, especially like with the multiverse stuff. And DC has done that too with Crisis of Infinite Earths, if I'm saying that correctly, back in a few years ago. So yeah, I mean, I get it, just because it's like, when it comes to certain things, like, with DC and DC rebooting every time, it's like, you don't have to reboot all the time. Just really, have the characters just really doing these stuff, but also no, you don't have to do no origin stories because people already know who they are. So it's like, do another origin story of a character that we already know. It's like counterproductive, and just like, with Marvel, it's Marvel is a tough one to say just because they're doing some stuff right, but they're also, they can, improve too, because I'm a consumer. But who am I to say just because I'm not working with the studios? I'm just a consumer and a fan. So it's just, now thinking about it, it's just, yeah, it's just weird. Like, I know in the comics there's a variant version of Iron Man who's Doctor Doom, but there's also the original Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom too. So it's kind of like, I'm not sure what Marvel's doing, but hopefully they'll pull some awesome stuff with that too. So who knows? Who knows? The next few years. Hopefully I'll get a chance to see that too. So, anyways, I'm gonna continue and just finish with the video too, because it's I'm kind of dragging this for a really, really long ass time. So, anyways, let's continue.
Film hinges on two films that release in July of 2025, Superman and the Fantastic Four. There are no slam dunks here, says exhibitor relations analyst Jeff Bach. There's still a lot of goodwill for Marvel, is there? It's the biggest show in town, but to think that these are going to do Deadpool and Wolverine business, I don't see any of that for these films. No, I don't think a Captain America sequel without Captain America and a Thunderbolts film without any of the original Thunderbolts from the comics combined are going to get close to Deadpool and Wolverine. I will give credit to DC and Disney Marvel, at least they're trying to change. That being said,
Well, if they're really trying to change, that's a good sign too, especially for fans who love the original stories from the comics. So it's like if DC and Marvel are really listening to the fans and really giving the fans what they want to see in the screen, especially in certain media too, like gaming and everything else, that's a good sign. I'm just going to leave it at that. So yeah. Anyways, let's continue.
Far more hopeful for a James Gunn Superman over a Pedro Pascal, Reed Richards, and a female Silver Surfer. Hollywood loves and hates.
I was talking about that earlier too, with the female Silver Surfer. So, I mean, I'm not against it, but hopefully they don't just completely erase the original Silver Surfer who's a man. So, yeah, I totally get that, And like with Captain Marvel, I never had something. Like I saw the first Captain Marvel, it was pretty cool. I had nothing against it. I think that was the second one, the sequel. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it wasn't like the best. I mean, I liked it. It was cool. It was cool to watch. It's just like and like with Miss Marvel kind of confused me just because she was Inhuman instead of just like with the other stuff too. I'm not sure what's going on with that because usually. Originally she's Inhuman, and that's like a somewhat different kind of like different class of I say species, like when it comes to like with mutants too and other super powered beings as well in the Marvel comics. But I don't know, I'm just talking as a fan and just share my own opinions. You guys can disagree. Yeah, anyways, that's just me. Anyway, I'm just gonna play the video. Fuck it.
The superhero film, but much to their chagrin, it's not going anywhere because they don't have anything else. Still, Warner Brothers and Disney remain steadfastly committed to their respective DC and Marvel slates well into the decade, and that doesn't look like it will change anytime soon. There still isn't anything to replace superheroes at the box office in terms of films with the potential to make the amount of money. Box says, until we see some genre take over, they're going to continue to invest in it. Nothing says innovation like waiting around for something to happen. The funniest bit, though, is this article from Variety was preceded by this article just 3 weeks prior. Toxic Fandom, how Hollywood is battling fans who are just out for blood from social media boot camps to super fan focus groups. To anyone who makes decisions in Hollywood who may come across this video, if you're wondering what led to superhero fatigue, which is better described as Hollywood fatigue, and that death by 1,000 paper cuts, which includes one gaping mortal wound, the problem has been, and always will be, you. Hell, you guys just put out a movie, Joker 2, that literally told the audience to fuck off.
Did they really do that? I saw the first Joker, and it had a kind of ties to, me being a Batman fan for so long with Bruce Wayne's origin story. But if Joker 2 was like that, then that's problematic. Like, what the hell? I mean, I heard a lot of bad stuff about Joker too because I haven't seen the movie. I just saw bits and pieces of clips. And now I'm just watching it too. If I get a chance to watch it, I'm gonna watch it with a open like an open perspective. It's like, what? Like they did tell its audience to fuck themselves? That if it's true, that I don't know. That's just wild shit though, man. But I shouldn't be surprised because it's 2024 and crazy stuff happens. So it's like, fuck. Excuse my language. And not trying to laugh too. It's just I just find it really crazy. It's just like when it comes to with the sequel to the Joker movie. I mean, the Joker is one of the most dangerous and dangerous villains I ever seen in my life. So it's kind of like portraying that monstrous character. I mean, I've seen version of the Joker that just creep me out, especially in the comics. I'll just leave it to do your own research with that too, and of course too, like the iconic. Damn, I can't even think of his name. Mark Hamill. There you go. He does the iconic Joker laugh, and that just sends shivers down my fucking spine. Just because if you hear him maniacally laugh as the Joker, it's like, oh my gosh, what did you do, motherfucker? It's like when, especially when it comes to the Batman episodes and like Heath Ledger playing the Joker too. That was really badass. I mean, rest in peace to Heath Ledger, and it's just I'm saying his name right. It's just like I say Keith or Heath Ledger, but yeah, he in the Dark Knight film with the Joker, man, that was gangster. He had a little bit of humor, but he was serious. He didn't play around. It was kind of like that, seriousness of the Joker too with that version of him. And Jared Leto, he was kind of like the gangster slabby kind of Joker too, kind of like they mentioned in the comics too. There's different versions of the Joker. That Joker kind of displays the gangster version, the military serious one, and the jokester. It's like, oh, that's really cool. And most actors who could portray that, I give you guys respect. Especially Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill, Jared Leto, and this guy too. I forgot his name. I know the tip of my tongue, but yeah, he's a really good actor too. Shout out to him. I think he won an award too, a few years back. So yeah, that's powerful stuff. But seriously, if that actually did happen and it told the audience to go fuck themselves, wow. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Fucking wow.
And they did. And they felt like you've been saying that for quite some time. And instead of possibly listening to your pain,
and that's a crazy way to push your fans away and not come back. If you tell the audience to go fuck themselves, it's like you're just cutting your own, like, your supply there, not just like your income, but also your fan base, because your fan base really just is your biggest supporters. And if you disrespect them, that's like a slap to the face. It's like, even like as a fan too, if someone disrespects me and it's like, it's like, fuck you, watch the video or whatever. It's like, motherfucker, I'm just gonna watch something else, not support their work. So it's like, I get it if you feel disrespected as a fan, and if it's just like with that too. But also too, I get it when it comes to just like, creating different stories. It's totally weird with Hollywood, and it's like a double-edged sword. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Nothing against people in Hollywood today too, especially the ones who are genuinely good people, whether Democratic or conservative too. It's just like, like with Joker 2, like if let's say I saw a movie that's similar to Joker 2 and it told its audience to just, F themselves, it's like, huh? It's like, you told me that, motherfucker? That's like, I'll be like, oh wow, I'll be shaking my head. I'm just gonna keep it real. I'll be just shaking my head.
Customer, you decided to make him and her the enemy. To paraphrase a quote from my good friend Chris Gore, demonizing fandom will turn out to be the costliest mistake in Hollywood.
That's what I was saying earlier. If you demonize your fan base, your people who support you, they're just gonna, they'll make you feel a certain way just because they feel disrespected. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna that makes perfect sense.
History. And you will have to ask yourself collectively as an industry, how in the hell did a few people in their spare bedrooms, people posting on Twitter and Facebook and other social media accounts know a lot more than your highly paid market analysts? Now,
yeah, there's a lot of content creators who know their stuff, and shout out to you guys too. I try to know my stuff, but at the same time, if I don't know anything, if I don't know any like certain stuff, I know how to stay in my lane of expertise, when it comes to stay in my lane of practice, stay in my lane of expertise. And it's really doing that too. But if I know something when it comes to with, certain top things when it comes to with pop culture and current events, I'll share it too. Like post links to other channels, media sources that are, trusted and valid and actual truthful, I'll do that. But yeah, there's a lot of content creators out there who are really doing some powerful stuff. And shout out to you guys who are doing that, especially if you're genuinely good people too out there. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to continue.
Now, the industry might not want to hear this, but quite frankly, the best stuff is coming out on streaming. And I think Hollywood could fix most of their problems, save for one, despite having everything you wanted.
I never saw the Penguin series. I got to check that out because every villain, like the Batman villains and Spider-Man villains, they got their own stuff now. That's something, it's still hard for me to wrap my head around. I don't know what it is. It's just, I just hope that they mention, like, when it comes to, like, with Bruce Wayne and Peter Parker, hopefully they'll mention them in, in the next future movies or TV shows. I don't know. That's just me saying that. So anyways, I'm just going to let the video continue. Just let this video end because I've been talking my ass off for a long ass time.
For the last 4 years, your industry has failed, and it's because you fucked with the money. So how do you reconnect with the audience when they're walking away silently, or worse yet, becoming the competition? And no matter what happens this year, you will be forced to do something that, unfortunately, thanks to your corporate structure, you won't be able to do fast enough. Change. But it's undeniable at this point that Tinseltown is broken up, and Hollywood is fleeing woke Hollywood in droves. And that's a good thing.
Nerderotic.com.
If you like what you heard,
I'm just gonna stop it right there. But that was some wild ass shit, though. Holy. So, anyways, if you guys like my reaction to this video, feel free to share your own feelings and thoughts about it. If you guys want to see this video for yourselves, if you want to see this video from Nerderotic, I'll post a link to the original video in the description of this video. And shout out to Nerderotic for making this video. It was really well put together. Made me think about certain things too when it comes to being a consumer of, certain things in pop culture, like in Hollywood, especially when it comes to with comic book related stuff too from DC and Marvel. And even with gaming too. So it really just put things in perspective. And when it comes to with me, because I'm a person that likes to think for myself and just really, question everything too. So, and I like to give credit where credit's due when it comes to other content creators. So I want to build my channel too, just really giving credit where credit's due when it comes to with other content creators, but also be true to myself too when it comes to be who I am as a content creator who loves everything, occult to the occult when it comes to with astrology, with yoga, wellness, vegan food, you name it too. And also with pop culture stuff too, like with gaming and with movies, music, etc. So anyways, much love to all you guys who are new to this channel, and for those who, are just, coming back to this channel, and for those who are still subscribed to this channel. I appreciate you guys for being who you are, whether you're Democratic or Republican, Independent. I appreciate you guys for being who you are too, whether you're a man or a woman, black or white, straight or gay, etc. And yeah, so if you guys like this video, if you guys want to show some support when it comes to with this channel, feel free to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you guys want to leave a like, give this video a like, feel free to do so. That really helps with the channel too. And share it with your friends also if you guys want to just share with your friends, critique what I said too when it comes to with my reaction. If you guys like my reaction, if you guys didn't react my reaction, feel free to let your voice be heard in the comment section. Feel free to, share your own feelings and thoughts in the comment section too. So yeah, with that being said, oh man, I'm about to go to bed. I think you know, I think I've made a 15-minute video, made it to like an hour per se to an hour and a half. I don't know how I can do that shit, just because just me talking and sharing my own opinions too. So, and these are opinions from my own experience and beliefs too. And you guys could totally disagree if you like it, if you guys didn't like it too. So anyways, much love. You guys take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy out there, do your best to live your best lives. But who am I to tell you that too? You guys probably know that already too. So I just really want to share some words of encouragement too to anyone who is watching this for the first time or for the second time, third time, etc. And yeah, much love and take care and many blessings.